a very pleasant good day to you all around the world. And I do mean all around God's planet. It's a great day to be alive, and especially this day. This is a great day because God made it, especially for you and I. And we have a very, very special guest. None other than the noted, and I do mean noted, Craig Hodges. Glad to have you.
Right, appreciate
It's
you.
a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
You are in the city of Chicago, and I know you don't fly around just to be flying around.
Absolutely not.
You have a mission, and I want you to tell us what's going on. Please.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity and thank God for blessing us to meet in a peaceful environment and come across the sacred airwaves to give that information and knowledge to our folks who are willing to listen. And I think for me it's something as far as being on the West Coast now, being in Los Angeles and seeing all the violence that was going on at home, I felt it imperative for me to have some say as far as trying to bring about remedy and solution to a problem that I think can be changed literally overnight if we just put our minds to it.
I love that we share the philosophy. If we will to change this overnight, we can.
Absolutely.
The detriment for some people is that we not do this because it's not feasible to do it.
Well, and I think, more often than not that when I look at the violence that is 300 shootings in a 30-day period of time and somehow it seems to be ordinary. And I read a newspaper that says this is ordinary behavior for a month. And I'm like, this is an ordinary behavior in a war in a month. Let alone when our children are concerned. And then for me, I'm looking, I look at for the last 8-9 years, I've been somewhat silent and on mute. And as far as speaking out and speaking in concern of some of the things that I see, and I think now at 50 years old, I see things in a different light, and I don't know if it's that things are speeding up to such a point of desperation, but I think now is the time for us all to speak out and be accountable for our lives as far as how we work being here if we're not fighting.
Absolutely. And one of the reasons we're here is to reach back as elders and be a blessing to the youth. In fact, the scripture tells the young folk to call on the elders for wisdom. And it would be incumbent of us to do just that, pass it on to the young.
And I think that's one of the things where I'm concerned as far as just my sport is concerned, basketball, is that when I look at the professionals who are playing, I don't see a lot of teaching going on from that generation of giving the sport to the next generation. For when we were in the league, we played summer league with high school and college players,
right.
So they had a chance to talk to us, engage us in as far as what the craft is about. Now it's more so, it's a private situation where most players have their own personal trainer, their own cadre of people that they work out with, and I think to some degree it doesn't lend itself to being a teacher. And I think like it's taught to us that the most important job is that of a teacher, and the next most important is that of a student.
Absolutely.
And then when the student is ready, a teacher will present itself. Likewise, when the when the student needs a teacher, the teacher will prevail. So I think it's one of those things where now's the time for us to teach that next generation our skills and our crafts, as well as give them information and ideas of how to be able to go about changing their own condition overnight. Because they can. It's not. It's a misnomer to think that we aren't able to change our own condition, and that you have to be in what you think is the reality, and has always been the reality. I'm from Chicago Heights, Illinois. I'm from the projects in Chicago Heights, and now they call it the keyhole section because it's so bad. I tell the children in that area, this wasn't always the keyhole section.
Right.
At one point in time, you had vibrant families who were living here and being productive and sending school children away to become college graduates. So we know that we can change our condition if we just think about it.
There's a diabolicalness going on. There's a hidden hand, if you will. But years ago, you were unorthodox. When you were with the Bulls, you didn't play with that little rule thing of not fraternizing and socializing with the young people.
Right.
You were seen anywhere, everywhere, playing ball with the young folk, admonishing them, and you gave them hope. I didn't see very many players doing that at that time.
Well, for me, I was born in 1960. I was part of the movement before I even knew what the movement was about. As an 8-year-old child, I remember knocking on doors, voter registration drives, walking around, marching, picketing. And then when I got a chance to go to Long Beach State and study it, I saw that I was a part of the movement. So as I get older, it only inclines itself to be a part of that same movement that needs to occur now. That all the lessons have been put forward to us. You know, Dr. King told us that the evil triplets of racism, militarism, and economic exploitation are the things that we have to be fighting against with our every breath, or we aren't worth our salt. So for me, when I was at Long Beach State, when we had our pregame meals,
yes,
it was at a soul food restaurant, and they had a huge picture of Dr. King that had on there, "A man who hasn't found something to die for isn't fit to live."
Okay.
And I would sit there and I would eat my pregame meal, literally focusing on Dr. King speaking to me, and speaking that to me and trying to tell me what my mission was. And I just think about how my game expanded when the more I studied about the sacrifices and the successes of our ancestors. And I think that's one of the things that's missing in the teaching of our young people, is that they can't understand the challenges that face them because they don't know the histories that's behind them.
You took much of that learning, that fight, into the arena with you. It manifested itself. You became a winner, winner. You have 4 rings now. Is that correct?
Yes, and it's like we say, it's a blessing just to be able to win, let alone to win 4. And you know how many great players haven't had 1 to win. So for me, I feel blessed to have had great coaching throughout my life. And more importantly, I think the work habits and the work ethic that was put into me at a young age carried on and carries on. And as far as knowing that it's all a matter of you putting into perspective what you want to have happen in your life, and then, you know, putting discipline on it. And that's one of the things, that was our key word for the day in the camp, is that discipline is so important, in that in order to be disciplined, you have to be discipled to an idea and to a concept, and to enable to put your all and your whole being into what it is you want to get accomplished.
Fantastic. It's not as if you're tired, because you are taking deep breath, and you have decided that you are going into phase 2.
Yes, sir.
With young folks.
Absolutely.
What's going on?
Well, the main thing is that we have to create institutions. And my mindset is that Basketball Schools of America is an institution that we can create because we know basketball. We played basketball all our lives. We were able to teach the game. And now it's just a matter of us putting it into I don't want to say just a building, but I want to put it into a well-oiled organization that can teach our kids, can mentor our children, and get them to understand the meaning of life. Because many times we don't even know what this shell is about.
Right.
That we just look at it as the end all, when in fact it's just a motivating factor to take us to the next level of humanity.
You're in the city of Chicago, and we're so happy to have you back here. We don't know what to do.
It's great to be on.
Yes.
It's great to be on.
But you're here on the campus of the University of Chicago. We can call this, if you will, the president's home.
Yes, sir.
This
gentleman back.
Yes, he plays here whenever he wants to play basketball. I like to see him come up against you.
Oh yeah, I want to go at him too.
Yeah, I know you do. And he comes in here at all hours and whatever the case may be. But I see something here. I do see something here. On the face of the African-American president of these not-so-United States comes a Craig Hodges to the University of Chicago, gathering these young folk together and giving them another ray of sunshine, hope, if you will. What's going on?
I just love it. Right now we're doing Basketball Schools of America, and it's our Life in Basketball program. And this is the launching site for it. We plan on doing this throughout the country in different urban centers, because we see basketball as a hook to get our young people to be critical thinkers. And one of the great things about having a location like the University of Chicago is produced the most number of Nobel Peace Prize winners in the world. And I think it's one of those things where when you walk on campus, when you look at the buildings, when you feel the energy, there's a certain energy and a vibrance that goes on when you talk about education and wisdom. And it's great to be around, and I just wanted our children to get a chance